All right, what's going on, everybody? I know it's been a minute, but back after a little hiatus here. Honestly, I've been working on probably the biggest project I've ever worked on, and this time it's for myself. So it's one of those things where, trying to, start up a little software project here, and I knew that if I didn't just all the way jump into it, that it might get sidetracked, distracted, this, that, and the other. I didn't want to risk not taking it seriously. So literally for like the last 4 months, just every single day, just get home from work, take the dog out, eat, straight to the desk and work. And on top of that, mom was visiting from out of town for the holidays for a little while there. So trying to spend a little time there. Needless to say, between that, market was kind of bearish at the time. So wasn't really doing much there. So figured, this is the perfect time to, stop talking about it and just fucking do it. So it's kind of what I did. Been wanting to do it for a while. Ended up sitting there like, all right, you know what? I'm going to start thinking about this seriously after listening to somebody. And so screw it. No more thought. No more go looking. It just sat down and started. So to anybody out there who has been thinking the same thing, maybe you want to do something, maybe you want to start a business, maybe you want to work on whatever project it is, just stop thinking about it, just start doing it. Seriously, like that was the smartest thing I ever could have done. And managed to get a lot done. It's definitely on the way. Got through a lot of the initial phases, and now I went through, started up an entire OneNote notebook, started going through business plan, what a dev brief, all that kind of stuff. And now I'm like, there's like a list of a few more things that I gotta figure out before I legitimately actually start putting some code together. So I'm in the process of figuring those out now. But I don't know, just I had the inclination the last week. I'm like, man, I kind of feel like making a video. I haven't talked shit into a microphone for a while. So maybe it's about time. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm doing it now, either way. But over here, I'm gonna look at the charts first, and then I'm gonna give a little update on kind of some ideas that I've been having with the channel and things like that. So looking over here, I'm positive you guys have been paying attention and seeing what's been going on with Bitcoin lately. So let's snap that down for a second. Look, it's the 12-minute, it's cluttered, whatever. But you see what's going on here. Everybody's been drawing some type of pattern over here. I happened to go and catch a couple videos just over the last week after kind of seeing what's been happening after all this sideways action. And was looking, and it's funny too, because man, I saw the first pump and I'm like, okay, I actually kind of glanced at it at work today, and I'll point this out right here immediately. Like, came right up to that spider line. As soon as I saw them, I'm like, ah, son of a bitch. And at that point, I was like, ah, man, I was thinking about going long too. Just thinking about, like, haven't even thought about getting in a trade for a while now, and thought about it right there. I'm like, well, all right, let me see what's going on first, just in case it pulls back, tries to do some kind of little retest or something like that. Next time I'll look, was like, shoop. Like, all right, well, fuck it. All right, we're gonna have to start paying attention again. But had a little target over here from the pattern. I think I saw a couple other people even did that. This line right here, it's kind of interesting that the two came pretty close to each other. I'll zoom out a little bit here. I might even have to zoom way further out. But all right, let's just go to the daily. Let's just do it. So this orange line right here is basically just coming across the top of this entire uptrend that we've had going on here since what, January. This guy right here is kind of a half-assed one along the bottom, almost forming a little channel right there. Not sure if it'll come into play, but it's there. Whatever. I don't have to look at it when I'm zoomed in up here, so screw it. Why not? This guy I've actually had on here for a while, ever since like back here, waiting to see if we were going to come back down and, get it for the low again. Wouldn't lie, my hopes are still up a little bit, because, I mean, who doesn't like to catch things on sale, but is what it is. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's cool. Price is going up in that case, so whatever. Looks like a completely crazy mess of lines. Honestly, I have not like prepared it for this video whatsoever. Oh, dude, my levels aren't working. What's up with that? Oh, that's not cool, man. All right, well, I guess you guys get to put up with the lines. Big rectangle. If you don't remember, it is the exact same golden pocket that has been there for, yeah, I don't even know, as long as I've been making videos at this point, maybe a long time. Um, the dotted lines going up diagonal, those are spider lines. If you don't know what the spider lines are, got a video on how to make them. If you're here from the Market Cipher community, odds are you've been watching Crypto Face, you know what spider lines are. They're probably on your chart right now. So we hit that one, broke through above. Looking, the next one that I got, and I haven't looked to see if I'm like skipping any or anything like that, is way up here. Call it 35 thou range or something like that. But one thing I did do is, oh, this blue line right here. It's kind of a shitty time frame to look at it, but it's kind of just going across the top right over here. It looks a little bit more like something when it's on a smaller time frame. You can see I drew it like between these 2 points, but I extended it out. So curious if we start heading up, if it's going up, might come into play or something. I would hide it right now, but apparently TradingView's kind of being a dick. But anyways, these blue lines coming off the top of here, and if you go and do like a volume profile, start doing fib retracements, you'll start to notice there's a lot of confluence between these levels. And so in an effort to not clutter the shit out of this even more, which I know it's a train wreck at the moment, I kept it simple, just did a couple little dotted lines that just don't stand out quite as bad. Got this one coming from like the lows over here, just kind of took a average of where those 2 dips came down to, but you can see the top of the golden pocket is right at the bottom of this little range here. Played out beautifully at the top of this. I mean, I was sitting there watching that like, oh, okay, we're going to see. Like, I was waiting to see if this thing was going to bounce off after coming up, hitting, and then finally broke through. But once we started getting those higher lows, you get a feeling it just keeps pushing and pushing. Eventually, it's going to break through. Doesn't really matter what all's down here at the moment. But yeah, so these 2 blue dashed lines are the 2 kind of filling the gap in between the spider line up here and this orange trend line that is quite close above our heads at the moment. See a little better over here on the 4 hours, so we're just shy of that. And so let's talk about where it looks like it might be going. I'll jump back down on the 12 here, just give you an idea of my thought process of my 5 minutes looking at it as I sat down over here. So money flow dipping out, took a sharp little dip right as the price started coming down. So looking at this, you might be thinking, okay, had our little run, kind of stagnated for a little bit, but it never really went down. It just kind of, sideways, but still a little bit upward, even as all this stayed in the green. Finally coming back closer down to the 0 line over here as we finally get a little bit of a pullback. At this point, the biggest thing that I'm kind of looking at, we got solid red RSI pointed straight down. A chance we may come back, retest this spider line. Honestly, probably a pretty good chance because we did have, a bunch of volume right in there, a bunch of consolidation. So that's probably, no, I'm not even going to say that because I'm not going to tell people what to do. But that's kind of my thought. Take what you will. Momentum wave starting to clip a little bit, but still can do whatever it wants down there. It's got breathing room. The VWAP is starting to come back up towards 0, and we have been going down for a little bit here, so not a big stretch to think maybe we start taking a little pause at some of these moving averages that it's coming up to. The biggest thing I'm watching for, and anybody who knows what they're looking at over here, I imagine is watching for too, is to see if the money flow flips into the red. Because the money flow flips red, this guy changes green, starts kind of doing its thing along the bottom there. Then we're at least looking like a pullback to that spider line. Just out of curiosity here, let's see if we were to just take, look at that, golden pocket lines up right on the spider line. What happens if I go the other direction? Yeah, okay, right about to what I was talking about, right where that moving average is. So those are your two immediate short-term levels right there. If you don't know how to do that, Faber tracement, just pick the highs of this little pump, come down into the lows over here. If you can go up, down, or honestly, I like doing both. Whatever, sue me, I don't give a shit. So look like you kind of have a resistance zone here, matches up with the little bit of consolidation we had over there. And then obviously the other one lined up with the spider line, which matches up over here. It's pretty much common sense at this point. If you know anything about support resistance levels, I mean, you really don't even have to draw anything to figure it out. Although it's nice to have a line there, so that way, tomorrow when you look at it and you're half awake and it's the morning and you're like, oh shit, which way is it going? You don't got to think about it. But all right, up to the 24. Let's see. Let's just kind of gradually go up here. Pretty much the exact same thing, except you can kind of see we got a big split with the RSIs right here, which is interesting. So if you don't remember what that means, when the RSIs are split, it's a sign of weakness. So if it's going down and there's a big split in the RSIs, that means it's weakness to the downside, which means it doesn't want to go down, at least at the moment. Not big time. Obviously, you're getting red candles. Yes, the price is technically going down, but it's not, crashing. It's not pumping downward at extreme speed. Again, biggest thing, watching the money flow, see if it crosses to the red. At this rate, I'd say we still have some upward pressure, and I imagine when we go up the time frames, we're probably going to see that reflected as well, just like here. Still up in the high spot in the green on the money flow. RSI's close together, banging around toward the top, bouncing off the ceiling. Also very bullish. Do have, if I didn't cover it up, do have a bit of a bearish divergence going on there, but I've made a couple videos about this. Obviously, it's been a minute since I talked about it. And hey, shout out to anybody who subscribed while I was just not even making videos. Dude, props to you. That's kind of cool. So this one's for you guys. If you don't know, bearish divergence is when the price is going up, indicators are going down, a sign that the price might be making a move to the downside in the near future. Bullish divergence would be the opposite. But the one thing you always got to watch for, specifically when we're talking about, Market Cipher B over here, is even if you have bearish divergence and the money flow keeps going up, it doesn't give a shit. If the money's flowing in, it's going to be propping the market up. It's like Atlas holding up the world. Doesn't matter how many people start jumping on the top of the ball, he's not caving. So I'll repeat, biggest thing you want to watch for, money flow. Even if we come down and check, we got 40, obviously it's starting to turn down a little bit, but doesn't mean too much yet. Generally you tend to see like these wave shape curves. So we could be seeing it start to come down. I'll also be paying attention here if it does come down further, but these RSIs just keep splitting further and further apart. I don't expect it to go terribly far, unless just everything flips on a dime and all of a sudden, this RSI comes and bam, just comes down to meet that one. So no guarantees, but if you're paying attention, in the meantime, while it's happening, you could kind of get a feel for, what's going on and what the sentiment is. Fuck it. Let's go to 2 hour. Here. Now that's interesting. VWAP looking, I'm not going to say bearish, but it does look like it wants to go down a little bit further. RSI still banging around up top. Too early to tell looking at that. Slight curve to the downside on the money flow. Really doesn't mean much. About the same thing on the 3 hour. A little bit more direction on that VWAP, but 4 hour. Again, same thing, not as pronounced. Really not seeing too much different. We had our little VWAP crossover right there. DBSI strong to the bear side. I mean, if anything, this is more of a gut feeling than like me saying like, oh shit, this is going to happen. But I kind of at least like to see a retest either here, or potentially even down here. Somewhere between those three areas right there. I'd like to see a retest. And if I'm feeling particularly bullish, which I'm still trying it on for size. I don't know. I still wanted to get more for cheap. So it is what it is. But if we get a retest and we start coming, that could be a very good sign of continuing the uptrend with establishing a new strong support level off the top of this golden pocket. That would be incredibly bullish, at least for the time being. Macro market things going on, who the hell knows? But at this point, got to get a little tunnel vision. And if you're trading, see what's going on right now. Fucking forget about everything else going on outside of it. Don't try to trade the yearly swing trade at the moment. Just play it by the hour, play it by the day. Basically just a rewinded version of what we've been looking at on the 6 hour. And then you come to the daily. And to be honest, the daily looks super bullish. I mean, aside from, DBSI number coming down to 12, but a lot can happen in the course of a day. Not to mention, you get a little bit of choppiness even over here on the Heikin-Ashi candles, but still RSI's basically one solid line, still high up at the top, still strong. Money flow crossing into the green. That basically matters more than anything. And you can go back and look, hop in our DeLorean here, go back in time. Who did that song? Was it like Huey Lewis or something? No, I don't know. I can't remember. Great song. Go back and look. Money flow crossed to the green. What happened? Big old pump. Basically kicked off this entire uptrend. Let's go back a little further. Even a week one where we crossed into the green during, the bottom of the sketchiest little belly flopping crap that we had going on over here. Even then, decent little uptrend. Again, this is the daily chart, so we're talking, let's see here, 15 days in an uptrend. And that's pretty close to about as small as it gets even. Keep going back. When was the last one before that? Again, during the weakest point. Again, about the same. 2-week uptrend right there. Keep rolling back. Keep rolling. Now, this one was obviously much... Oh, I'm fucking it up. This one was much more prolonged wave. And especially on these longer waves, you'll start to see reversals, generally about 3/4 of the way through the wave. Technically we had the big dip, and when it bounces, you could kind of say, oh, well, yeah, it started going up after that bounce. But, 3/4 of the wave will kind of take you to about here, which is fairly realistic. You know, especially if you're like, okay, you don't know what's going on, and then you kind of see like, oh, okay, we got a new higher low. That would have been a great time to get in for a nice little uptrend right there in and of itself. So you get the point that I'm trying to get at. Money flow crosses to the green side down here on Market Cipher B generally play out as nice little uptrends. You know, we had this guy right here, which didn't amount to much of anything, but that was, you know, RSI's coming down, entire market moving downward, extenuating circumstances, we'll say. Whereas compared to right now, RSI is still high, generally. I keep doing that. Why won't you let me click the button? Generally heading upwards still in an uptrend. So different situations. So yeah, try not to latch on one way or the other. Try to be agnostic about it. You know, I get it. I want cheaper prices. Part of me wants to be bearish while at the same time I'm still holding plenty. So the other part of me wants to be bullish. It kind of works out perfectly. So I'm basically coming at it from an agnostic perspective. So it just is what it is. And that's a much better way to attempt to trade it. Damn, I've been talking for 20 minutes. All right, so that's what's going on with that. As far as the channel itself, so far since like almost like a New Year's resolution, because I listen to a lot of audio books, especially at work or in the car, or I don't know, sometimes even when I'm like walking around the house or cleaning or something like that. But I decided, all right, since I'm working on the business and stuff like that, this year I wanted to do strictly nonfiction books. And so I've been looking into a lot of business books, started going through, I found like Patrick Bet-David's top 100 books for entrepreneurs list. Man, I must have downloaded 30 off of that list. Went through, damn, I'm almost at 10 on that list right now. A few other lists, you know, recommendations here and there. Found some really good ones. Some of them are just kind of general self-improvement. Other ones are more tailored toward business. So I'm thinking about doing some video reviews on lessons learned from those books. And the first one, I was going to do the first one, get into like a few of the laws from 48 Laws of Power. If you're not familiar, it's a book by Robert Greene. Dude is an excellent writer, outstanding way to do it. He gives these like stories of historical characters and how their actions and their lives pertain to the laws listed in the book. Really good stuff. And I just finished last week his book Mastery. Highly recommend that one for anybody. Also, if you're thinking about reading it or you already have read it, I found like an outstanding summary of the book that just lists like the major phases and then all the different items, you know, underneath those phases. I printed it out. I got it downstairs. I've been like, every time I come home, if I'm cooking or something like that, I just start browsing through it just as a reminder. If you want that, let me know. I'll throw it in the chat or give you the web address or whatever you want to do. Also hooked up with some people on a Discord server of similar mindset. Been talking to them, getting things going a little bit. Even went and did the Spartan Deca Fit, or no, sorry, the Deca Strong event for the first time. Holy shit, that kicked my ass. But I finished. So, hey, I'm telling you, you got to start getting mind, body, and spirit stronger, because things are still getting crazy. Even though I was saying it like 5 months ago, said it wasn't about to be getting any better. It hasn't been getting any better, has it? So, you know, get off your ass and go fucking do it. Yeah, so I think the next video I may, was it 10 o'clock? I may even do it real quick. I was gonna do the 48 Laws of Power one, but I think as like a primer to that, because even before you start getting into, you know, some of these strategic thinking and all these different, you know, behaviors and self-improvement stuff, you know, at a certain point, I think there's some underlying myths that people need to dispel a little bit that they have in their head. And one of those is that like, oh, I act a certain way because it's like a genetic trait, or, I have a certain predisposition and it runs in my family, it's hereditary or it's genetic or something like that. And there's actually been at least enough studies showing that, yeah, that may be the case a little bit, but they've proven that being in a certain environment or basically working your ass off to compensate ended up putting, like, whether it be mice or people or whatever the experiment was, it ended up putting them ahead of the people that didn't have that quote unquote like genetic, I don't want to say disability, but predisposition. So anybody who's out there thinking like, oh well, addiction runs in my family, I got addictive personality or something like that, and think that it's kind of like holding you back, this whatever, believe me, I've been down that road, and it's complete bullshit. You could do whatever the fuck you want to do, honestly, as long as you legitimately make the decision and then work your ass off. So I kind of want to do a video about that, and I want to show part of a video of a guy talking about one of these studies. And I think that could be helpful for a lot of people who, sorry to say it, but making fucking excuses. Whatever it might be, whether it's where you came from or how you were raised, or, the environment that you've been living in, or whatever the case may be. And, whether you're overweight and, say that it's a genetic or something like that, like, fucking nature doesn't care. You could literally do whatever you want to do, and you could do whatever you want to do with yourself. You literally just have to make that decision and do it. And I think being able to like see this clip and talk about it a little bit, I think could be helpful. And I'm not trying to beat anybody down. I'm legitimately trying to snap people out of it, lift people up a little bit. Believe me, I've been there. This isn't like, I'm not Mr. Perfect. I didn't come from a super great place. I mean, fuck, if I told you my history, we'd probably end up making a channel just on that in and of itself, because it's fucking crazy. But let me know what you think. And hey, it's nice to be back. Thank you to everybody who was still watching and people who left comments and stuff. Appreciate it. And my bad to leave you hanging, but we're going to do some stuff, and I'll still keep up with the chart updates. I'll try to keep them quick. I don't want to do them every day. There's plenty of people out there doing them. And a lot of people do it in slightly different ways, but honestly, I started looking just over the last few days. A lot of people come up with the exact same levels, same support resistance levels, different ways to get there. Might look a little different, even different colors, using different indicators. Fact of the matter is, if you're watching the right people, and if you want to know who some of the right people are, some of the people who are legit and actually care and are actually being honest and aren't just out here scamming people for that matter, let me know. I don't care. I'll say who it is. I mean, shit. There's only a handful that I really do watch, and odds are you probably watch them too. So, without nothing else, under a half hour. Sweet, let's keep it that way. I'll see you guys later, and I don't know. I hope you guys watch some of the self-improvement videos coming up, because for real, everybody needs to get on it. It's time to quit fucking slacking. Even if all you want to do is trade. Come on. All right. Later.